In the wet, a record entry of 7 military teams in the 70-strong grid braved heavy rain throughout the 6-hour race at the Northamptonshire circuit. The RAF have traditionally been the most successful here, with 2 Army, 1 team from the Royal Navy, Royal Marines, an Armed Forces Challenge team and a Veterans team. The 2 Air Force lineups faced a stiff challenge. The race, now in its 68th year, is all about getting as many laps in as possible. Teams with lesser powered cars are given extra handicap laps, but the wet weather also a great leveller. First out for RAF Lightning, Darren Berris, but his strong start was brought to a grinding halt with a gearbox failure forcing him to retire. The Army and Navy also made strong starts. Roe Barrett, the Force's Young Driver of the Year, and Mark Saunders giving Army 1 a really strong platform. Army 2 also going well with several drivers new to the event, the conditions making it a real challenge.
The spray in the last 4 laps I couldn't see a thing. So unfortunately for me, I got a bit of windscreen started to sting up a little bit, so I had to pull in just for safety reasons. But absolutely correct with the weather conditions today. The rear-wheel drive cars are really struggling, and it really allowed me to really catch up and do really well, really.
With RAF Lightning struggling to get back into the top 10, their development team Typhoon sensed their chance. Dan Smith's Fiesta putting in a huge number of laps, which given the conditions and the extra handicap laps, would give them a real chance of doing well.
Yeah, it would make a good start, the Typhoon team. We've got one of the cars out now, so hopefully we might, fingers crossed, hopefully we might grab something.
Royal Navy, Royal Marines drivers were also going well. Richie Scott driving a Peugeot 206, giving them a terrific start to the race, and he had some vital tips for his teammates.
Get a rhythm with your car, get a feel for your car, where the grip is. So there's some dry lines on a couple of corners. No, not drier lines on a couple of corners. But they might not be the best place for you to put your car. So just settle in and then up your speed gently. But you spend a lot of time trying to look in your rear view mirrors as well, because there'll be a car coming up on you in a place you wouldn't expect.
RAF Lightning then suffered another loss. 2019 Forces champion Chris Slater suffering a mechanical failure on his Peugeot just a few laps after taking over. It meant they were down to just 2 cars in their team. Darren Howe putting in a mammoth 2 3/4 hours on track in his VW Golf.
The car felt good. I got some good consistent times in there. Utterly shattered now, but it was an epic drive.
So could the Army take advantage?
It's been our strongest performance so far, yeah. Obviously I want to make sure that I bring it home in one piece, and hopefully I'll see you at the checkered flag.
The Navy and Marines continued to progress up the field, all their cars front-wheel drive, and what they lacked in power they more than made up for in grip. The safety car continually deployed with numerous accidents, but none of them involving Forces teams. Another accident meant the race was red flagged, ended just before the 6-hour mark. The scratch race would be won with 109 completed laps. The magic figure with the additional added laps would be 115. Only 3 teams managing that. Fourth though the Army with 114. Tom Sykes, Mark Saunders, Ben Gundry, Roe Barrett, Doug Inglis and Anthony Felton-White in an MG Midget, making them the Inter-Services champions. Finishing just 25 seconds ahead of the Royal Navy, Royal Marines and RAF Typhoon just behind them, putting 3 Forces teams in the top 10.
I think it's pretty exceptional that all the teams were running that closely to each other. It shows the system's fair, it shows how closely matched we were as well. It also shows the sterling performances that have been put in by not just the Royal Navy but the Army and the RAF within that. It's been incredible, it really has. Very exciting, treacherous conditions, but out of all the teams that have thrown their cars off the circuit, the military have managed to keep ours on the circuit and have put some very fair racing in at the same time.
And that perhaps the most important result, along a course with the Army bragging rights. Until next year, John White and Forces News, Silverstone.